Hello dancers, I'm Sadie. I'm very happy to be sharing with you today some of my favorite veil techniques that you can hopefully add into your repertoire. So please make sure that you're thoroughly warmed up and stretched before beginning this video. I'm going to show you a few of my favorite stretches. Since we're going to be doing veil, we're going to be working a lot of the upper back and the arms, and we just want to make sure that we take a few extra minutes to make sure that we're really stretched and warmed up in that area. So let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to take a nice big inhale up, really stretching, feeling the rib cage expand. We're going to plie down, keeping those knees bent. Inhale up, and again we're going to exhale down. Notice how my knees are pressed back and my spine is staying straight. One more nice big plie. This time we're going to take the fingers, lace them together, palms reach up, continuing to stretch, lifting the rib cage. And let's just go ahead and take that back, feeling the abs stretching, continuing to breathe and expand the rib cage, filling our bodies with oxygen. We're going to reach forward, bending over, 90-degree angle, really pressing into those hamstrings, stretching all the way through the body. And we're going to drop it down center here. Go ahead and let your neck relax. And you want to press into this stretch as far as comfortable. You definitely want to feel a nice stretch in the hamstrings. And we're going to walk it over to our right side. From here, you're going to reach up with the right arm, looking towards the back wall. And release it. We're going to walk it back to the center. Gently walk those hands forward, just far enough to get a nice stretch into the calf muscles. Continuing to breathe, nice big deep inhales and exhales. Take it back to the center. Walk it over to the left. Really feel yourself pressing into that left leg. Trying to bring the rib cage towards your kneecap. And again, we're going to lift up with the left arm. Nice and high, fingertips towards the ceiling and looking towards the back wall. And again, releasing, bringing it center. We're going to plie those knees and we're going to roll up nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time, as slow as possible. Gently stretching our necks by rotating to your left. And take it the other direction, rotating to the right. And we're going to drop the left ear over to the left shoulder, stretching along here on the right side, keeping your right arm nice and long. We're just going to rotate the arms back, nice and long, warming up the shoulder area. Up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over. Allow the whole body to move, allow the rib cage to move. Take it a little faster. Forward, 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 forward. And taking it up to speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And another 8 count. 5, 6, 7, 8. And right here, a couple of these really opening the rib cage and contracting. Opening in the upper back as well as contracting. So from the side, you can really see open and contraction. So definitely make sure that you take some extra time to stretch if you feel that you need it. Although veil can sometimes be slow and sensual, it's definitely very energetic and requires a lot of upper body strength. So please make sure that you're thoroughly warm. We're going to get started by addressing some of the questions that often arise by students when considering dancing with veils. We're going to talk about veil selection, when you might want to consider using and dancing with a veil, things like different ways to hold your veil when you're dancing with a veil. One of the fun things that I'm going to show you is actually how you can play finger cymbals while you're holding your veil as well. So some of you may already know some of these concepts and ideas, and if so, fast forward on to the fun techniques and combinations, and if not, just take a few minutes to review some of those questions with me. So talking about veil selection, there's dozens of different sizes and shapes and colors of veils. Some of the most popular ones are rectangular and then half circular. So I can show you a few examples of rectangular. This is one veil that I really enjoy dancing with. It's nice and long, and this is a very lightweight silk. So silk is one of the fabrics that we can use, and the weight of the silk will make a big difference in how it flows and how it feels. So this is a fun one that I enjoy working with, and through the techniques and the combinations, I will be showing you different examples of dancing with all these different kinds of veils. So getting to know your veil is an important step in veil dancing. Each one has its own personality, just like a dancer, and you really need to take the time to bond with your veil and to get to know how it flows and what kind of a dancing touch it needs to highlight it at its very best. So another rectangular veil that we have here, and this one is a heavier weight silk. So this one is going to actually flow different than the last one. And as you can see, the different colors and patterns are really fun to play with, gives the dancer a lot of options and variety to match the music selection you might be working with, your costumes, the emotions or the feelings that you might be wanting to create your mood on the stage. This one obviously has a nice fiery look, so if you're a fiery personality, this would be a very good veil selection for you. But you can already see I have to work a little bit harder to get this veil to fly than the last one because it's much heavier. It's not that one veil is better than the other. It's just that they're different, and you have to find the right one for you. And it's always good to be diverse and to be able to use different kinds of veils to have some variety. So those are the few rectangular ones. Then when we get to our circular ones, which I love for things like double veil and spinning and turning, because they just behave, in my opinion, much better for things like turns and spins. But this is a chiffon style, half circular, so you can see the straight edge on top, and that it rounds out at the bottom. So again, it comes in all different sizes. This is kind of like a two-tone, and then it's edged with the gold, which gives it a really nice look, and it also gives it a nice grip. As the dancer, I like having this here because I can really feel my edge, where on some veils, your edge is very hard to define. So if you're doing double veil or you're doing some complicated dance moves, you might want to start with a veil like this where you have this thicker edge that's really easy to find and grip if you're dancing, or say, for example, you lose touch with one hand, you can easily find it without having to look down on your veil. And that's another thing to remember as you're working with this video and as you're attempting your veil dancing. You are going to have flub ups. Your veil is going to misbehave. You're going to drop your veil. It's going to get tangled in your costume. It's going to get tangled in your hair. It's all part of the game. And sometimes it can be fun. You just have to be creative and just don't panic. That's kind of the biggest advice I can give. If something goes wrong with the veil, if you can pull it off, make it look like it was part of your show, that's great. And if not, if you don't panic, then the people watching you won't panic. But I have seen dancers actually panic because something went wrong with their veil, and that actually looks worse than just trying to graciously recover from your veil doing something you didn't necessarily want it to use or want it to do. And then here we have one of my favorite styles of the half circular silk veils. Now the silk I just love because it flows so beautifully, and it just looks like flowing water or fire when you're dancing with it. It really catches the light and catches the air. And this one is a veil that I've purchased from a dancer, Anina. She makes a special kind of half circular silk veil with a ribbed edge, which is like the one I was talking about earlier, which makes it really easy to find when you're doing things like double veil, or again, advanced techniques where you need to be able to quickly find that selvage edge or the straight edge, and you don't have the time to be really looking for that. So this is a really nice option. And then again, I have here another half circular silk veil. And this one has more of a selvage edge. It doesn't have the rib on it, but it's still nice. And you can still work with this one. And it's just another pattern, another color option. Maybe you're feeling really colorful on that day. So I am a very proud restaurant and nightclub dancer.